Hello and welcome to the Glesga podcast. Now remember and share and like our episodes. Coming up this week, is there anything you would like to do this year in particular?
No. No. It's hard to undo 4 decades of sloth. It's hard to change the habits of a lifetime. It's all right for you. You're one of these mad people that does stuff. Fuck that. It's fucking murder when you're in the boozer and you're a doctor. People find out you're a doctor, they get their knob out and all that going, can you have a look at this for me? I mean, that's fucked up.
But before then, we're talking about everything. New Year's resolutions, as you have a massive yawn. It's been a long year for you.
It has. It's 1 month has just melted into the next. But I live in the moment, as you know. I don't worry about what's happened in the past. I don't worry about what's happening in the future, because you know that most of the things you worry about never come to pass. But if you're making some bad life choices, then free your mind and your arse will follow. I think that's my maxim. It's certainly been an interesting year, son. Have we done well? How have we done?
It was a year since we did our very first podcast. And we've had a great time. We've had the live shows have probably been the highlight, I would say, in terms of the great guests we've had on. Who was your favourite guest we had on the podcast for last year?
I need to be frank, wouldn't it?
Really?
Okay, I need to be frank. Since he's from my generation.
Frank McAvenny.
Frank McAvenny. And, you know, I'm obsessed with football, despite following Motherwell, which is real football, by the way, real football. Frank was the real highlight, guest-wise. He's a great guy. He's funny. No fear to laugh at yourself, send yourself up. I think Frank was good, but other guests were some very interesting people.
Yeah, I think for me, the highlight was Jane McCarry. I knew she would be good, but I thought she opened herself up and just told some great stories. And we'd obviously Greg Hempel, Jordan Young, all those great guests. But for me, I thought the audience as well just really went for her in terms of what she had to say. So
if you look at the numbers on YouTube, that was the most successful podcast.
This month for me in January, and it's sold out, by the way, the January show, is probably my favourite, will be my favourite guest of all time.
The guest we've got this month, I used to go out drinking with him back in the old days before he became famous. And he was getting kind of famous then. And his wife fucking hated when he would go out drinking with me. Because he'd always come home pissed. I think that's why they moved to Brighton.
Right. Well, you're giving that away. No, you're not giving that away.
I'll fucking Google who lives in Brighton. Big deal. Right.
So, it was sold out anyway. So, in terms of you were going to try and cut down your drinking, that was your...
I did cut down my drinking because you, sir, you are working me to death, man. You see, it's been good. It's been good because I had to focus myself. And you're going, I'll pick you up at 9:15. 9:15? And I'm not talking at night, in the morning. He's got me, he's picking up at 9:15. So I need to get up like fucking daft a cloak to fix this. This is not how I look when I get out of my bed. This takes serious buffing.
So 9:05 then you got up.
Fucking well before that. Well before that. So you can't be a mad swallyhead and have this sort of a, schedule.
You have cut down your drink, to be fair. I mean, you're still eating like fuck, but
fucking no.
Your
like
protein,
fuck.
You're mad. You're on your high.
I've changed what I eat.
Yes, you have.
I don't eat complex carbohydrates. I try and stay away from complex carbs. And just for anybody's wondering, what's a complex carb? It's something that's made with a number of ingredients. For instance, a pizza base would be a complex carbohydrate. A piece of bread, for instance, a loaf would be a complex carbohydrate because it's a mixture of things. So rather than eat complex carbohydrates, I would eat simple carbohydrates, which could be some sliced peppers, some spinach leaves, some cherry tomatoes, things like that.
Basically everything that's on a pizza.
No.
Just
but-
not the base.
No, right, aye, but apart from the base. But what's on a pizza is often processed as well. So, I try and stay away from processed foods. I mean, you eat these mad yogurts and all that. I wouldn't eat something like that.
What, protein yogurts?
No, these are processed. I wouldn't eat that because they're full of sugar. And I'm convinced that it's no fat that's the biggest problem. And by the way, you can check this out, that it was always fat is bad for you. The most dangerous thing in our diet has been shown, and people generally are in the consensus now, that it's sugar and additives in processed food that are absolutely toxic and aren't good for us. And it's the quantities in foodstuffs. Maybe in small amounts it's not so bad. But I try and avoid sugar. But it's impossible to avoid it. So you should just try and take low amounts, try and eat less processed food and try and eat fresh food. That's what I do, that's what I try and do.
So that's what you're doing this year?
Well, I'll just carry on. I mean, that's what I've been doing. Was that one of my resolutions?
I cut, because I think we sat here last year.
Did I not say, I think, right, it's coming back to me now. Aye, so it is. Right. Did I not say I'll try and eat less and move more?
Aye.
Because that's something I say, right? So maybe I said that. So
Put the fridge up the stair.
it's fucking, I know, it's hard to undo 4 decades of sloth. It's hard to change the habits of a lifetime. It's all right for you. You're one of these mad people that does stuff. Fuck that.
So I sat here last year and said I was going to get up at 5 o'clock. And
Have a lie in.
I would say 95% of the year I've got up at 5 o'clock. And it's been the best thing I've ever done, because I get
See, if you
loads.
still lived in the house with me, I would beat you to death, man. What are you doing, man? Up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who's up at 5 o'clock in the morning? You're mental.
You get loads done though.
Oh, fucking lie in. Have a lie in.
I have a lie in. I get up at 6 o'clock at the weekend.
Oh, you're a loon ball, man. Getting up at 5 in the morning. Oh,
You should try it.
if I'll maybe start pissing the bed and get up at 5 in the morning because I need to change the sheets. I'm not trying it. I've no wish to try it. I've no wish to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's not happening.
Well, some
That's why I never had any interest in joining the army. Because I remember years ago, somebody says, "What's it like being in the army?" "Oh, it's terrible. You need to get up at 6 in the morning." Fuck that.
And you've got to run as well though. You've got to run a lot. You wouldn't be good at that, I don't think, my backpack on.
I could have done it when I was in my 20s.
But you've started to go to the gym. haven't you?
I occasionally go to the gym. I think it's the people who populate gyms. I think are a very peculiar class of people who I don't wish to interact with. I think that's the issue. You know, it's great that they're doing their thing. If you go to the gym, I think you're just trying to, what you're trying to do, you're trying to up your heart rate just to reduce your blood pressure. So if you just generally get fitter, right, then your blood pressure comes down. And that's the point of maybe going to the gym. But to try and look like Rocky or something, no. Some people want to sculpt themselves as a vanity thing, a narcissistic thing. I'm no particularly interested in that. It's just, for me, it's a health and a fitness thing.
It's like an older generational thing. When I'm trying to cut weight, folk just think you look ill.
Do they? Do they tell you that?
I always get folks saying, "Oh, you look as if you lost a lot of weight."
I mean, your brakes are hanging off you. Right, we just buy with your brakes.
Aye, I mean, put a belt on.
Right, but do people say you look ill? You don't look ill.
Look gaunt looking.
Gaunt?
Aye. Because I wasn't well just before Christmas. I had shingles, remember?
Aye, well, you were looking a bit fucked, I've got to be honest. Aye, you were, but that was you know. That's
I
different.
know. Forget these diet injections, by the way. If you want to lose weight, you need to get yourself shingles.
Aye, fuck.
Jesus.
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
My head's still numb. It takes.
Is it? That's been weeks.
It takes weeks to go away, apparently, or
Right.
it can take weeks. But I don't wish that on anybody. It was awful. Just
Well, there's a few folk I'd wish it on, but we're not going to name names.
so I thought shingles was like you got in your 80s or something like that.
I had it when I was 40, and I had it bad for 5 days. But you had it for weeks. You had it for a couple of weeks,
I had it for weeks.
which is a bit weird.
Do you know what was the weirdest thing? Looking back, I watched a recording of myself at a gig because I had to go and do a gig the night it was really bad. And
Right.
I watched myself gigging and I had no recollection of doing the gig. Which was the weirdest thing. Because I was so ill, I'd obviously just used adrenaline to get through it.
Were you
and
taking any drugs? Were you taking any painkillers or anything?
I was in painkillers.
It could have been that.
Comodamol.
Could have been that.
It's only Comodamol though.
Cocodamol. Cocodamol.
Aye.
Cocodamol's pretty strong, actually. It's kind of stronger than paracetamol.
Yeah.
So that would have knocked you do well. What was the gig like? No, well, full of tablets. Where are you for? That's funny. I know I shouldn't laugh. You're suffering.
But we've had some good gigs as well. We did Falkirk seems to be a place where,
We are big in Falkirk.
and we're back there in April as well. We're back in Falkirk in April.
April the 12th.
That's
Is it the 12th?
I think it's the 12th, aye.
April sometime. We'll let you know later on.
Aye. And maybe, who knows, this year we might go on tour. We might look to expand outside Falkirk and Glasgow.
We might get some people in Greenock.
Aye. Maybe we could do it in the afternoon before I do my shows at night.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm doing a wee tour, so we could do the podcast in the afternoon and I'll do my show at night.
Well, we'll see if I'm available. I've got a life as well, you know.
That's it.
I need to get down to the lunch club.
So, sorry.
Ladies.
Producers just checked you're available. So anything this year then?
That I'm resolute that I'm
Yes.
going to
What
change.
you're going to change
Well,
this
what are
year?
you going to do? Right, what are you going to do this year?
So last year it was all about cutting weight. I'd like to bulk up a little bit, but no like massive, just bulk up a little bit. Yeah.
Well, get some Botox injections or something.
Well, I'm
Right.
going on tour, so I'd love to sell out the Pavilion Theatre. I'd love to, because that's where I used to go there and watch the pantomime and all that stuff, so I'd love to sell that out. That's
Right,
maybe
you probably will. You probably will sell it out.
so I have to go bigger than that.
What's bigger than the Pavilion?
The Kings.
Is it? Not by much.
I think we're like
I don't think it's not by much.
200 seats or something.
Aye. If you can sell out Pavilion, you sell out the fucking Kings.
Aye. But I don't really know.
But you've normally got a plan. This is unusual. You've normally got a plan, a goal. You've normally got all this stuff.
Well,
Is you one of these nut jobs that plans everything? Hey, you've got, I'm going to do this, going to do that. So,
I think it would be good to do a Glesga show in a substantially larger venue.
well, we're doing that anyway. We're getting into that Barras Art and Design in April. How many's that had?
400.
Well, there you go then. That's going to happen.
Good. And we've sold well over 5 tickets. So if you want to come and see us, glesgadad.com,
It'll sell out.
we'll sell it. I'm
Aye, we'll
confident
sell that out, no bother.
we'll sell it. And it'll be good fun. And we're probably, for the listeners and viewers, we're going to maybe try something a wee bit different at that show as well.
Right, I'll be interested to see what that looks like. Fair enough.
It'll be good fun. I've got to record this Radio 4 series, so that's the other thing I'm
Well, you get plenty to be getting on with.
busy.
There you
But-
go.
But I think I get shingles last year because I was doing too much.
Do you think so?
I was burning myself out a wee bit.
Did the doctor tell you that?
No, family told me that. Along
Really?
You've
Well,
lost.
you've got doctors, your in-laws.
Yes.
Did they tell you that?
Aye.
Right.
My brother-in-law said
Right.
I've got
That's
to watch. I'm
interesting.
doing too
You
much.
see, that's interesting. When you meet a doctor, and you talk to doctors. I don't know. I don't really talk to doctors. I've not got access to doctors. Right. You've got your in-laws are doctors. I was saying to a doctor, what's it like being a doctor? And he went, it's fucking murder when you're in the boozer and you're a doctor. People find out you're a doctor, they get their knob out and all that, going, can you have a look at this for me? I mean, that's fucked up. Because you can't see a doctor. I think since the pandemic, right, I think doctors seem to be at the time with a doctor. And there's this whole thing about funding the NHS and all that. You can't see a doctor as often as you would maybe used to. So doctors just get, fucking bombarded. Excuse me, doctor, you want a pint? How I'm going to show you my hernia, you know what I mean? And people are lifting their shirt and going, what do you think of that?
Well, it was a pharmacist that diagnosed me for shingles.
Well, see, you wasn't even a doctor, you saw.
No, couldn't get a doctor.
You're just fucked.
And then they diagnosed me, but they couldn't treat me because pharmacists can only treat shingles if it's on your torso, not on your face. So then you got to go.
You're joking.
No. So you've got to get an emergency optician's appointment that day.
An emergency optician's appointment?
Yeah, so
what the fuck's it going to do with an optician?
So every optician in Scotland has 2 available appointments for emergencies. So you phone them up and you say you've got shingles, and they've got it because it spreads on your eyelids and it can blur you can go blind with it if it's not caught. Could have got in Strictly.
Right, aye, very good.
But sadly, I can see. Not at all.
Well, there you go.
So we're going to put this year on hold, but stay tuned. What else has been happening then? Is there anything you would like to do this year in particular?
No. No. I mean, I'm past the point of bullshitting myself every New Year's Day and saying, I'll do this and do that and do the next thing. You see, my whole thing in life was just to be free. A free spirit, to live my life. Because you're really just surviving, right? Most of us are just surviving. And the way I've always thought about life is like, you go to work for a living, you go to pay your way, absolutely, no doubt about that, right? But up to a certain point, you don't want to be beholden to a boss who's a wanker or working a job you hate, or because you've only got so many hours in the week and in your life, and you're only here for a short time. So you would prefer, I think, to work and live in a situation that, that suits you, that you're happy doing. And that's always been my thing. Just exactly what that looks like, whether it's playing the guitar or being an actor or being a comedian. I've got that. I've had that I've been a comedian for 30 years. And an actor, I've made films and played in the band and played my guitar. And it's just to carry on. That's it. So that's the idea. And you're free to do what you love. Free to do something that you love.
So would you like to do a Glesga, the movie? What would that be about? What would the
If
premise?
somebody is visionary enough to see if we could become a movie, if somebody wants to write a script and make us into maybe crime fighters or Glaswegian superheroes, and we're maybe being attacked by zombies and Russian drones, and Glesga saves the day, that would be great. But I'm no Samuel L. Jackson. I'm not sitting here going, let's make a movie about snakes on a fucking plane. Now, Sam Jackson can get that sort of movie made. Does Glesga have that sort of clout? No. If somebody comes to us and says, I've got an idea for you 2 guys, and I went, what is it? Fuck off. Then fine. If somebody says that, great.
Maybe the viewers and the listeners could give us suggestions about who they would like to see in our live shows.
Right, but keep it real. Who they going to fucking Liberace or something? Well, you did for a start, but who they would like to see.
Aye, who would they like as a special guest?
So I thought last year the way we sold out the Fringe show was amazing.
Aye.
So for this year, for August, the fact that last year the only day we never sold it was the very first day, and we sold 54% of the tickets on the first day, and every other one was rammed, was amazing to me.
Because I think other podcast shows were quite surprised how well we were selling for the amount of time we'd been gone, weren't they?
Well, what happened was the strategy you had employed early on was we became massive on TikTok, and they wee vignettes with you phoning me up, me going fuck off, and ripping you a new arse. People loved them, and it established us, right? It put us out there, and then when we launched the podcast, we found an audience. We went out and found an audience out there. And what's great is, I think when the people watch, and most of you love the podcast, and that's great, but see when you start getting people hating you, that's when you know you're making it. That's when you know, when you got people saying things like, these two aren't funny, or you're as funny as, I don't know, trapping your knackers in a vice or something, right? I love that, because it shows we're getting somewhere. It shows we're flinging enough shite now that it's sticking to some fucking malignant ball bag's wall. So that's great. Nobody who's ever made it never done it without attracting hate, because there's people out there who are objectionable. And what they do is they see people doing well and they go, check the fucking wankers, check the arseholes. How have they get that and I've got this? Well, you know how they've got that, because we get out of our bed at 8 in the morning. Well, somebody's got out of bed at 5 in the morning, right? But you've done it. You've created it. The difference between your dreams and your goals, your reality, is action. And you took action. That's how you accomplished it. But most people are sitting here dreaming and don't ever get off their arse. So they never accomplish anything. You see, they just go, oh, I'd love to do that, I'd love to do that. But they never take action. You've got to take action. That's the difference. And you'd be amazed if you just do it. Even though you might not know what you're doing. You're not sure where it's going to go. Just aim for it, and you'll get part of the way. And you might make a buzz of it. There's a good chance you'll make a buzz of it. There's a good chance you'll make something of it. And then you go, right, well, that was good and that was shite. So we'll not do that again. And then you've learned. It's that simple. That's how simple it is. Now, if you don't like it, that's cool. We're cool with that. It would be surprise you to know that if you don't like us, we're okay with that. No problem. Away and watch somebody else, and you can hate them as well.
It's weird. I don't get engrossed in any of that online.
I just see them occasionally. And I think there was a time, maybe years ago, where it would kind of bothered me, and I would try and go, oh, why do you hate me? And you go, fuck, no bother, no problem.
Because that's something you've taught me in terms of don't give a crap what people think.
Well, because you can't do anything about it. You can only try and by your actions improve your own situation. You can't save anybody else. You can show them and open a door for them and say, we've got this. You're welcome to try, and there's an opportunity for you. But it's okay if they don't want to take it. You can't. Lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. And it's kind of true. It's cliched, but it's true. And it's a wonderful thing to be given an opportunity. It's a terrible thing to be denied opportunity. But it's also a terrible thing to deny yourself opportunity by your words, your thoughts, and your actions. And it's like we've said sometimes on this podcast, and I know this, despite how you feel about things, you've got to try and be the best version of yourself that you can be. And if you've got any purpose whatsoever, it's to learn what you're good at and give it away. To learn what your talent is and then give it away. To become good at what you do and be of benefit to other people. While there's breath in your body, there's hope in your heart. And that's what I believe, despite, and you know me well, and you know I'm a kind of Jekyll and Hyde character, right? Some mornings I just can't be arsed. Now, Glesga da, he's a miserable old wank, right? But there's a lot of it. is already there in me. So it's a cautionary tale. It's like the thing where I think it's in indigenous American folklore. They say inside everybody there's two wolves. There's a evil wolf and a good wolf. And who you become depends on which wolf you feed. Do you feed the evil wolf or do you feed the good wolf? If you feed the good wolf and starve the evil wolf, then you become more of a good person. See, a lot of people operate from a place of fear. The world we live in is fucking bananas. It's mental and it's scary. And people come from are operating from a place of fear and not a place of love. And we should be operating for a place of love. But it's hard when we're bombarded by all this fucking insanity that's run about us. If you can try and overcome that and just do your best, be the best version of yourself, you'll do well. But here's some advice. If you can control your mouth, your stomach and your cock, you'll solve 99% of your problems. Have a good year.
Well, on that note, I'm away to wash mine. Right, okay. We're going to have some shout-outs.
Thanks for watching and thanks for interacting. So the first shout-out is the Scotch Bonnet, which is actually a very hot chili. A couple of bombs, LOL. Thanks, Scotch Bonnet.
So Robert Eddington says, Brill.
And Dawn says, are we doing any gigs in Edinburgh? Well, we did a gig at Easter Road Stadium, and that was before they pumped Motherwell 3-0 the other week, because they were pissed and needed cheered up.
But we'll be doing the Edinburgh Fringe in August.
Mary Ann Watson says, fab podcast, currently craving a Tunnocks caramel wafer. Mary Ann, don't eat too many of them.
So Geff Star says, greetings from North Wales and loving the show.
And Little Pouser too. Where did they get these names? You're listening from Broxburn, I believe, but you used to be for Glesga. Obviously in the witness protection programme, Little Pouser too. False name. You must have grassed up. Arthur Thompson back in the day.
And Colmac 1849 says they've never stopped laughing all the way through. I hope that's no Calmac, or else it's no gone anywhere.
Colmac, but if he's laughing all the way through, either we're incredibly funny or he's just smoking too much Kunsel.
And finally, keep the shout-outs coming in, and we will get to you eventually because you're giving us so many, but we will do, we'll get through them all. So please tell us where you're listening from in the comments or drop us a line, whatever. And on that note, have a great year, everybody, and genuinely thanks for watching us or coming to our live shows for the last 12 months. And as always, if you can help us share the podcast, tell your friends about it, because that's the only way we're going to grow. Hit the like button on YouTube and give us 5 stars in your podcast provider to give us what we hope will be another great Glesga that year. So, if you enjoyed us, as always, tell your friends, but if you didn't,
we're the best film in the world. Fuck off nicely. Have a good year.